The movie begins in Malawi with a parade featuring a variety of African masks celebrating African cultural beliefs. The following scene occurs on a farm where many people, including children and the elderly, are working. A man named John Kamkwamba is seen walking before collapsing and lying motionless on the ground as all the other men on the farm rush to his aid. The following scene takes place at the cemetery, where mourners had assembled to attend John's funeral following his passing on the farm. A sermon about how John's death was no one's fault is being delivered in the background as a pastor is seen preaching to the audience at the cemetery. Masquerades later perform an authentic African root dance, which the mourners found entertaining. The following scene depicts a young boy named William Kamkwamba attempting to repair a radio. Soon after putting the battery in, he turned on the radio, playing beautiful music from a nearby station. His mother and a baby are seen lying next to his father in one of the rooms. As the baby cries, his father exits the room and approaches William, asking for his radio and then inquiring if he had also fixed Mr. Bamuzi's radio. Later that day, William's mother, Agnes, is seen outside the house with Annie, William's elder sister. They have a little conversation, and his mother is later seen leaving the scene. Next, we see William's father Trewell, instructing William to go to their house's roof, possibly to inspect their faulty roof, as he takes a walk with his radio in his right hand. Shabani and a friend of William's are present as he works on the top to fix some loose nails. Afterward, William is seen trying to hide from Mr. Bamuzi, who has come to collect the radio that William was supposed to have fixed. His mother, Agnes, is later seen pleading with him to fix the radio or return the money he had collected from Mr. Bamuzi. Finally, Mr. Bamuzi and his mother leave the scene. In the next scene, William is taking a bath and later in his room, where he sees the gift his parents bought him. Afterward, we see him in a new and loose uniform, running out with a smile on his face. William is starting school. Later, we see William on his way to school, where he runs into his friend and fellow student Gilbert. Following that, we see a student assembly, with teachers and the headmaster speaking to the students on the first day of school. William noticed the water drops, and later we saw torrential rainfall as the headmaster ordered the students to make way for their form room. In William's classroom, a teacher named Kashigunda was seen commanding the students to sit. He will serve as their form tutor and science teacher for the session. Back home, we see William reading and his mother advising him to join his father in the planting. The next scene shows William and other classroom students receiving their test results. William believes that his lack of reading time caused him to perform poorly on the test. Afterward, William and Gilbert are seen searching through the junkyard for devices they can repair to generate light so they can read most nights and in the dark. The following scene is of a gathering of elders from Kasungu village. A voiceover explains how a tobacco estate robbed the town of its tobacco business. The tobacco estate representative had come to the meeting to offer each farmer 2,000 kwacha per ton for their forest. They turned down the offer, but we later saw people signing this deal because they needed the money. Flooding has occurred in Mozambique, posing a threat to the people of Kasungu. Still, many are too preoccupied with money to realize that cutting down the trees would only bring the village closer to destruction through flooding. And along with the recent rain, it threatens the people, but few can see through it. William and Gilbert walk towards a house in the following scene. We see a lot of older guys talking about women and stuff as they walk in, but the conversation abruptly ends because one of the older guys believes William and his friends are too small for the discussion. William cuts in, claiming to know everything they know about women. The guys had gathered in the house to listen to a football game. Sadly, the radio's batteries were dead, and it was starting to rain outside. William was later seen rushing home to get his batteries so they could listen to the football games. William is later seen packing his batteries in his room, where his mother and father discuss how to pay William's school fees with their little money. The guys were relieved to hear the football game when William returned to the sports center carrying his batteries and having miraculously fixed the batteries to the radio. Later, William and Gilbert leave even though it is raining, and they spot Kashigunda and Annie kissing and cuddling under a shed as they return from the scene. This infuriates William, who appears to have vowed to punish Kashigunda. In the following scene, we see William and Gilbert at the junkyard, looking for devices they can fix to get some light to read books in the dark. Gilbert is later seen holding a piece of metal to William and suggests destroying Kashigunda's bicycle. When they arrive at the park where Kashigunda had parked his bicycle, we see William attempting to puncture the tires but decides not to. Then he discovered that Kashigunda's bicycle generates light using some technique. He realized that the light was wired to the foot switch and that the bulb would glow so long as the pedal was in motion. The day after calling out everyone's names, the headmaster instructs those who heard their names to stay and those who didn't leave for another class. William was on this list and was told to go home because of unpaid tuition. At the time of this scene, it was raining a lot in the village. Trewell is seen at home working on his farm to prevent flooding of the crops he had planted, but his efforts were fruitless. Trewell decided to see his old friend Daniel Nwada, employed by the auction house, after learning that his late brother John's farmland had been given permission by his nephew Jeremiah for a 2,000 kwacha. He wanted to persuade him to negotiate a sale of the property from the tobacco estate. The next scene shows Trewell on his bicycle, with William in the back seat, riding to the auction house to persuade Mr. Daniel Nwada, but the effort is futile. Mr. Daniel Nwada stated that Malawians would face a long period of hunger following the rainy season. William did an excellent job following the conversation between his father and his friend, Daniel Nwada. The next scene takes place in the village of Kukula, where Trewell and William inspect their crops' roots. Unfortunately, Trewell discovers that the roots are weak, and the sun continues to shine. It's only a matter of time before the crops begin to rot. Later, we see Trewell, the village head, and one other village elder discussing how they will inform the president of their situation at their next meeting with him. In the following scene, William and Gilbert look through the junkyard for a rechargeable wet battery. They discover two, but William knows the batteries need to be charged. He afterward thinks about where he could get one. After that, we see William and Gilbert leaving for school. William is later spotted in the classroom, but we are reminded that he was kicked out for not paying his tuition. William occasionally went to Kashigunda's class to study, but this time he was there to convince Kashigunda to join him in the library. Later that day, we see Kashigunda and William at the library. Thanks to Kashigunda's ability to convince Ms. Sakalo, William can study in the library without telling the headmaster. William asks Ms. Sakalo where he can find books on energy and electricity. Ms. Sakalo noticed that the books were not intended for someone in the same class as William. William was successful in his search, and we can see a cheerful and delightful smile on his face as he reads a book about energy and electricity. In the following scene, William can be seen trudging through the mud at the junkyard. For Mr. Mamba's inauguration, people had gathered in the village, and the MC expressed gratitude to the president for attending the swearing-in of Chief Mamba. To honor the president, MC later called Chief Wimbe of the village forward to the microphone. Mr. Wimbe made a stately entrance. While Chief Wimbe was addressing the audience and outlining his beliefs, which seemed to oppose the current regime, an officer is seen escorting him off the stage. Gilbert is later seen attempting to follow his father but is thwarted by presidential security. When William realized what was going on, he asked Gilbert to leave the stage so they could find his father. William and Gilbert rushed to the scene to help the chief after we saw the president's men beating up Chief Wimbe in a later scene. A sudden gunshot in the vicinity sent people running as they escorted the president to his car. The chief is bleeding profusely from the face as he lies on the ground. In the next scene, William's father and family are saddened by the spoiled produce from their farm. To restore normalcy to his village, Trewell decides to support the opposition party. He leaves for a different town to express his allegiance to the opposition party and will return the following day. The village is shown to be very unrestful in the following scenes, with more people turning to steal, insufficient rain, and rotten crops. Trewell believes it will be disastrous if they try to grow another set of crops because he is sure they will fail. Trewell and his family are seen talking about how the farm and their crops have not been doing well. William requests that his sister Annie speak with Kashigunda on his behalf, so that he can use his bicycle headlamp dynamo to generate electricity and pump water. The following day, Trewell and his wife Agnes are spotted holding an envelope. They are concerned after learning that Annie has fled with Mr. Kashigunda. They go to the principal of the school to ask where Kashigunda is. William, the older guys, and Gilbert are seen working on a wind turbine to produce electricity. Their efforts have successfully run the radio, and everyone is happy with their accomplishments. All thanks to William's genius. William is seen working on the farm with his father there. William demonstrates the new wind-powered radio to his father, but he does not appreciate his efforts. William explained to his dad that he was making a large inventory of wind-powered pumps that could pump water. His father didn't believe him and told him to stop making stupid inventories and visit the farm. After his wife Agnes counsels him to treat their young son William well to prevent losing him as they had lost his sister Annie. Trewell and William are seen attempting to build a sizable windmill to pump water in the following scene. William's new technology has provided the village with water. The next scene shows Mr. Wimbe, the village chief, dead on his bed. Following that, we witness individuals performing Chief Wimbe's funeral rites. Finally, thanks to William's new significant windmill inventions, the village could start growing crops despite its lack of natural resources. The movie ends with William standing beside his happy father, Triwel Kamkwamba, as he promises to do whatever it takes to get him to school. So that is it for today, guys. If you like the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for daily content like this. Thanks for watching.